and welcome back to the Journal of a Huntsman. I'd like to just take a minute to apologize for how long it's taken to get this episode out and posted. I actually had a recording almost ready to go, but I'm not sure what happened. My computer, it was deleted, and I've had to re-record this episode again. And it's not a problem because I still really enjoy doing this, but it was fairly disappointing to realize that the hours of effort I put into this just suddenly went down the drain. And my schedule has been swept up with so much lately, and not just taking up my time with school, but also other positions and commitments that I have, as along with work. I know this episode is taking a long time to come out, and again, I apologize for taking so long. I'm getting used to the seasonal changes that's going on in my life, and I didn't want to post a video that just didn't sit right with me. It didn't feel like I gave enough to, so I've waited and scripted, and then rewrote the scripts, and then rewrote the script again, and then rewrote the scripts again since the last time I talked to you guys. And now here we are again, jumping back into it. And one thing that I like to start off saying is that I hope everyone's handling themselves well and hanging on. Whatever you're going through, and whether it's something big or small, whether it's something personal or professional, I hope everyone's having a great time and enjoying life. Even with the likely struggle and challenges that come around, sometimes you can just take a step back before it all overwhelms you, and then dive back into it and push through. Because that's part of the goal, getting through another day, getting through another week, another month, another season, and then a year. And getting through it by doing the best that we can. Now, for today's topic is a bit of a personal practice of mine that I've been doing for years now. Something that some people like, some people don't like, some people love, and some people just think that it's kind of weird and probably won't practice at all. That being said, I have a question for all of you. Have you ever thought about meditation? I know that when I was younger, I used to think about meditation as a practice where someone gets super quiet, they sit down cross-legged, and then they empty their mind and just say, Om. They repeat it over and over again. First time that I saw an actual example of meditation was after watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't remember if he said Om exactly, but I do remember him sitting down in that moment when Aang kind of just went into himself. That episode when Aang met Guru Patik opened my mind to exploring meditation and my emotions and thoughts. And that's the thing that really stuck with me. It's what drove a meditative experience for all of these years. And while that's been what's worked for me, it's not the end-all be-all for meditation as well. What meditation is a practice to gain self-awareness and enlightenment. The most important benefit being self-awareness. Becoming aware of all the different things that flow and affect you as a person, that move in your life and change you. The things that give you power or fear or joy or sadness in life. It's so easy to wonder about all of this, all of these different things. Like we wonder and ask ourselves these questions all of the time, constantly, daily. And isn't it so common to just not have an answer? Like when you're kind of annoyed by someone, you're just like wondering, why am I annoyed by them? Sometimes you can think through and you find an answer for yourself, but other times there's just no reason. You're either annoyed by something for no reason, or sad, or happy, or maybe you're feeling a little nervous, but the reasoning just escapes us all. Meditation has been a practice that gives me that chance, and it's the chance to ask myself and find these answers to all of these questions that I ask myself about why I do what I do. It actually started with me sitting down and repeating the phrase Om a lot. I think I started doing it so much that my mom had to tell me to stop doing it, but I enjoyed it because whenever I sat down and started trying to do all of that stuff, it helped me really get focused. Like I would zero in on the moment or a thought. It let me feel super clear about everything happening around me, whatever it was that I was doing. And as a kid, I think that was both good and bad, mainly because sometimes situational awareness can work against a person, but I don't regret it for a second. Hell, if I went back in time today, I would do it all again. And maybe try and balance a healthier social life with other people instead of being so weird. But what I came to understand and repeat back to myself in this is that being normal is overrated. Being different is way more fun. And meditation was weird when I was growing up, I'm not gonna lie. It was something that I didn't know how to do properly. I saw it on TV, wanted to try it out for myself, and all it was very quiet. Like all the thoughts in my head would just quiet down, or I would take one to the surface and just flesh it out very well. I would think about whatever I had to do in that moment, whether it be homework, maybe I would have to go outside and do the chores, maybe I would have to think through an argument that I had with my mom or my siblings. Looking back on it, I was always self-reflecting when I was meditating. It was always the process that kind of calmed me down. And it's actually been very good for me, developing and growing up through high school, middle school. That self-reflection is something that I don't know if everyone was able to do the same with the same level of intensity. Because when I say that I self-reflected, I replayed the events over and over again in my head. So I would look at different arguments. I would look at what I could have said better, how my tones could have changed, how I could have said this to make the person feel like this. I wouldn't just look at myself as well, I would think about the other person. So while understanding my emotions was a very crucial benefit to meditation for me, it also helped me understand other people and understand the world around me. Now, besides the goals of meditation, there are a lot of different benefits that can come from it as well. Things like reducing stress or anxiety and feelings of depression as well. Another great benefit that can come from meditating is improving your sleep quality, something that I know everyone can appreciate and probably needs in life because, let's face it, sitting in bed, not being able to actually sleep for hours, even when it's late, even if you're tired, is never fun. Let's be real, it's something that's incredibly frustrating, but it happens. Insomnia is real. It affects a lot of people out there. Maybe sometimes you just can't sleep. I point this out because when it happens to me, I like to do one of two things, and both of them I've learned through meditation. First is I either let my mind wander, and I explore all the thoughts that are racing through my head. I let my consciousness sink into my mind and I just observe. My imagination used to be so wild as a kid. Like if someone could rate my creative skills, it would probably be like a B, maybe a B plus. If we're talking about my imagination, the things that were going on in my head, it would be like S class, A class, no questions asked. I could stare at anything and picture a whole story surrounding it, and I would daydream a lot, create whole storylines, and everything was able to be watched in my head all the times while going through school. That's why one of the reasons why I loved reading so much was that I could visualize everything that was happening in the book right in front of me. I don't even want to talk about some of my dreams because those would be insane, and there would be so much to talk about with just that. So much would happen in those, but one of the things I loved most about being young was that I was able to see it all. I was able to actually do it. I was able to visualize and have this crazy, vivid imagination. And now that I'm like 20, almost 21, I still have a crazy imagination, but of course it's not the same. It's remained vivid enough that I love exploring it myself, and when I can't sleep, I simply let my mind wander until I'm tired of exploring, so tired that I just knock out. I use a lot of the mental energy that I have to keep me up to, I guess, work my brain out and then have some fun with that as well. The second thing that I might do is quiet everything down. Take my thoughts and try to focus them on one thing. Typically, it'll be my breathing, and then I let myself get into a rhythm of breathing in and breathing out. I go from focusing on feeling my heartbeat steadily feeling my heartbeat in my chest to feeling how my body moves. Maybe feeling the blood flowing through your veins, how your chest is moving up and down, how it's rising. The second thing that I might do is quiet everything down. Take my thoughts and then try to focus them on one thing. Typically it'll be my breathing, and then I let myself get into a rhythm of breathing in and out. I go from focusing on feeling my heartbeat steadily to focusing on feeling my chest, say, rise and fall. Calming myself down to the point where I don't think about anything else, and then my brain kind of falls into a hole, and I doze off right into the night. If I had to simplify all of what I would do, I would say it's I either let my brain think of nothing or I let it think of everything. That's just me. That's how it's worked for me. And then getting back to the topic, none of that would be possible if I didn't have meditation. If I didn't learn how to calm my brain down, if I didn't learn how to figure out what I'm thinking or work on my imagination and creative skills. The greatest skill that I've learned since starting this whole journey is how to think for myself and about myself. Being self-aware and then being positive about that self-awareness as well. And now that it's easy to sit and listen to all of the great things that meditation can teach a person, from all the health benefits or lifestyle progress, mental health gains, but that's not all there is to it. I've become a firm believer that whatever you do, there will always be a danger to anything that can give you benefit in the world. With meditation, with all of this thoughts and thinking about yourself going on, seriously and honestly thinking about you, and knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, the things that you love and hate about yourself, the confidences and insecurities, all of it, just as you have the chance to put it all behind you and become better, it can also overtake you. And I don't just want to preach about how good meditation has been for me, because honestly, while it's been so good, there have also been times where I wish that I wasn't so deep into it. A quote that I often think about is this: "He who fights with monsters should look to see that he himself does not become a monster. And if you gaze long into the abyss also gazes into you." What I take this quote to mean is, or represent slightly, is that for all the negative things that you encounter and admit to in life, be careful not to let them roll over you. Don't let them become you. There's always something better, something to chase after or fight for, something to believe in, but it doesn't come from nothing. You have to put in effort to make it come to fruition, and Admit to your demons and then fight them. And fight them and win. And you can do it. Promise you can do it. You just have to take the first step and then don't look back after that. Now, turning the conversation back towards meditation, there are 9 different ways that I was able to research online, and while I was thinking about it and reading all through them, they made a lot of sense. There were a lot of sites with different pieces of information surrounding meditation, but one of them that I found talked about 9 meditation types, which I believe could be broken down into 7 because some of them were just convoluted and they worked very well with one another. These 7 are mindfulness, spiritual, focused, movement, mantra or transcendental, emotional wellness, and then visualization meditation. Each style has a different focus and way to practice, and then they'll lead you to different forms of benefits for the practitioner. I'm going to explain how each of them work and then offer a couple of suggestions based on what I know about them all. So for mindfulness meditation, you focus on your thoughts. This is one of the most foundational and basic forms of meditation and a great way to start learning about self-awareness. You focus on what you're thinking and allow your thoughts to float in and out of your mind. Your mind should be a space of just non-judgment and only observation. Note the things that you're thinking of and feeling, whatever it is that you realize about yourself in an effort to become more mindful. And the word mindful means being aware or conscious of something. That's exactly what the goal is with this meditation. The process can be simple. It shouldn't be overly complicated or difficult, but you start with, say, getting into a position that's comfortable and closing your eyes. First, start by taking a few deep breaths to calm your breathing and heart. And then as you're breathing, you start to let go of your anchors, things that may be holding you back. Things like the problems in your daily life, the worries or concerns, you just let them go and focus on your body, feeling your breathing, going in and out of your breath. Focusing on your body, and then your breathing. Focus on the position that you're in right now, and then watch your thoughts while you're focusing. Focusing on cultivating a personal awareness for yourself, thus building a mindful practice. Next is spiritual meditation. Meditation is something that many people do today already. So while you may or may not realize it, the action of prayer is a very common form of spiritual meditation. Learning and deepening your connection to your faith. This can be done through silence, repetition, fasting, prayer. This type of meditation takes precedent with your spirit, and then also your soul. Whatever objects that you have faith in outside of yourself, and spiritual meditation not only focuses on your connection to your faith, but also takes a deeper dive into observing and exploring your soul and then who you are. Asking yourself the questions that almost define you, observing and then noting the qualities of your spirit and then how they function, how they change, or operate, or react. Focused meditation implies a general focus on your being. It's common to use your 5 senses and concentrate on whatever it is that you're feeling. Say you're breathing. You take deep breaths and focus on each one. Feeling of air coming into your lungs and then being pushed out again, what that action does to your body and then how it feels. You focus just on you. This is a very powerful and helpful grounding exercise as well. If you're ever feeling anxiety, it can help just ground yourself into the present. Look at where you're standing or sitting. Whatever you're hearing, feeling, smelling, tasting, seeing, and observing the details while focusing on just that. For martial arts, I use both focused meditation and movement meditation a lot. Focused mainly to let myself get a good grasp of how my body's functioning, and then movement for the actual practice itself. I'll visualize the exact movement that I want to bring forth, and then visualize the muscles moving, my balance shifting, and then all of the physical features that go into this practice and this movement. Say a punch, squaring up my body, getting my arms in place, shoulder width apart, squaring everything. Throw one jab, moving the hips, arms stretching out, slowly extending, feeling everything turn and move. That's focus to me. That's what it means. This is really helpful for sports as well. I do the same thing for basketball and volleyball. Like you might have realized already, movement meditation centers on action and movement, what your body does. And then now that I'm thinking about it, I believe that an alternative description for it could be action meditation. Just because action meditation encompasses all of it, but not gonna lie, movement meditation does sound a lot calmer and smooth. For this meditation style, the focus is about following a movement and then letting it guide you. Remember, the goal is to achieve enlightenment or at least some form of self-awareness with yourself. With movement meditation, the actions and movements are meant to help with that. Think of practices like yoga and tai chi. Those would probably be some of the most popular and easy to think about examples that I could provide. Next, mantra meditation is what I practice a lot myself. I don't believe that I do it completely right, but I adapted the idea from the original repetition of the word Om to actually repeating phrases, mantras that I develop and think about often. They're either motivational or philosophical or even inspirational sayings and ways to just think about the world or life in general. Mantra meditation focuses on thinking about repeating and saying a word or phrase over and over again. It's kind of similar to focus meditation in a way, but you have to repeat it so that you really hear it. Use it to relax, then have all of it just guide you. The idea is still to cultivate self-awareness and then overall calmness and tranquility within the body, but the method shifts and changes a tad bit. Think through the words or phrases. Have a dialogue or discussion with yourself as you're meditating, or just letting your mind go free. The thoughts run wild in your head. I enjoy mantra meditation because it gives me the opportunity to remind myself and correct my thoughts, to correct my habits or behavior whenever I feel like I'm starting to drift off a little bit. And that's what I love about it so much. And now, transcendental meditation resembles mantra. If I had to describe a difference between the two styles, it would be that transcendental meditation is a more secretive and private form of meditation. I couldn't find out much information about it, to be honest, or about it or the practice, but I imagine it to be more personal, and the words or phrases that you repeat are based on individual circumstances. Thinking about it now, I'm not really sure which one it is that I practice myself. Maybe we could possibly figure that out together. And if someone knows more about transcendental meditation or has heard about it, let me know what you know about it. I'd love to learn something because, hell, the research that I've done may not have been as in depth as what you've heard or that you know. Now, emotional wellness meditation is a style that focuses on the emotional wellness and well-being of the person, trying to feel things like love, kindness, and affection. In a way, it combines visualization meditation and spiritual to try and have you think of people that you love or care about and remember those feelings. Remember them and then actually embody them within yourself, replicating the positive feelings, then bringing yourself self-awareness and emotional wellness as well. I enjoy the functionality of this style a lot. Like, honestly, what it does for a person is great, and it shouldn't be overlooked. A person's emotional spectrum ranges from so many different things and interests and complicated feelings and emotions, and figuring out how to balance our well-being is such a difficult task. Like, we're human, we feel so much, and that's natural, but whenever we get dragged down by some of these feelings, it's also important to recall some of the ones that help us out, and help us feel pushed up or encouraged. That's the goal of this style of meditation, remembering and really feeling the emotion that's put us into that good place, or at least a better one. Next, visualization meditation is a style focused on using your mind to actually visualize scenes in front of you, typically peaceful, calming, or positive images or places. And this is why I said that emotional wellness meditation partially uses this style. If you have a very strong or wild imagination, like myself, I believe that this is one of the things that would work very well for you. Honestly speaking, this and mindful meditation are two most used and fundamental forms of meditation that someone can practice. They both focus on two different ways for a person to cultivate their wellness, one being more passive and the other more active in their benefits and utilization. Meditation as a whole tries to balance the two active and passive styles, but typical meditation is generally more passive. You go into your mind and get into a very powerful flow state where your thoughts are just going in and out of your head continuously. And with an active mindset, I believe it takes more control and action over your thoughts. Now, some styles you'll be more of an active mindset, while some styles you'll be more passive. And for the most part, I've actually tried every one of these styles in some way, shape, or form. Like I said before, I've been a fan of meditation and self-betterment for a very long time, pursuing different ways for myself to grow and then learn and become better. It's a passion to grow and then keep growing, and meditation has been one of my favorite ways to help myself grow. As I said before, the real benefit of meditation, the real skill that helps a person the most, is the ability to be self-aware. To notice what you're thinking, then what you want, what makes you who you are. Self-awareness is the ability to be conscious and aware of one's character, self, feelings, motives, and desires. What you want, why you want it, how you're feeling, what makes you feel this way, who you are, and then what makes you, you. How often do you think about this? How often do you think about any of that? The personal and then deep questions that go to defining your existence and making up for yourself and who you are. I believe all this combines into a topic that a lot of people tend to skirt around and avoid. Maybe it's just that we don't know how or what to think or talk about when we ask these questions to ourselves. Maybe we don't know how to start the conversation properly, even with ourselves and alone. So talking about any of this with others may seem like even more of a complicated and difficult task. Sometimes it's too painful to actually dive deep enough into your mind to hear the things out and to figure all these questions for yourself, but I believe that it's necessary. You have to push yourself outside of what makes you comfortable to grow and then gain something. There's no growth in comfortability, there's only stagnation and atrophy. In the state where the muscles and skills you've developed while working begin to wither away and then grow weak. While it's necessary to step out of your comfort zone, I do believe that for a fact, and do something bold and unnerving sometimes, I also think that you don't have to throw yourself into the fire right away. You have the ability to choose what fires and obstacles you'll challenge. But the thing that you can never forget, is the courage to take that first step. To try and do something better for yourself, even if it feels odd or weird at first. Try it and see where it takes you. So for the first half of the episode, I've told you about meditation and the different styles that you can practice. But for this second half, I want to take the chance to tell you guys about my style. The meditation style that I've spent the last 3 years creating and building for myself. I remember making it and then trying to come up with a name. I was going to call it something like the Heavenly Pillar Meditation style or the Hidden Temple style. I still haven't thought of a proper name for it, but it won't stop me from explaining it all because it's come a long way from where it began. The style is a combination of mindfulness, focused, and then mantra meditation. I'm not sure if the better word is transcendental again, but there are 4 pillars and centers of focus within it. They're peace, balance, power, and faith. Thinking about life, these are all elements that resonated with me and are what I thought were essential and necessary for just about everything. I thought about what I chased after in my life and the absolute most basic principles that could guide me to live the way that I wanted to. I knew that I wanted to be at peace, and I had to have balance in there as well. And I couldn't negate or forget about power, of course, and one of the most important things that I've noticed for years has always been faith. I wanted all of it, each and every one of them. I mean, think about what you would like, what you feel is important to live how you want to live. What are the values or elements or ideals that you want to always remember and then embody for yourself? For me, that's what the 4 pillars represent. That's what peace, balance, power, and faith are. They're the things that I need to stand up for myself and live the way that I want to live. And within the style, they work within a cycle and then continue to reinforce and support one another, wherever you start from. When I began this whole thing, I started off with peace because I believed that without peace, I couldn't move forward. I wouldn't be able to become something greater, be better if peace wasn't established within me. If I wasn't at peace with myself, where would I go? Until that began the cycle. It advances like this. So through peace, you find balance. Through balance, you gain power. Through power, you build faith. And through faith, you sustain peace. Now, practicing this meditation style, you go through each pillar, and then you repeat the mantra until it's touched you, or you understand it a bit more and you feel it for yourself. How I begin is by finding a spot to be by myself. What I loved during winter quarter was when I would go to the top of a parking structure right by my dorm. I'd first work out up there, and then before ending, I'd just do this meditation. It works wherever you want to be or whenever, but it just felt so peaceful up there. I'd sit down and just take a minute to relax and take everything in. Feel everything for myself and use my 5 senses to just ground myself in the moment and the now. Try for yourself. If you're outside or inside, try sitting down and just taking a breath. Close your eyes and just open yourself up. You might feel stiff sitting down, but don't focus on being proper. Just get into a position that you're comfortable in. Feel the ground beneath you, the air around you. Hear these sounds that are just surrounding you. The cars in the background, any music that's playing. Feel your heart beat steadily in your shoulders and chest rising and falling. Just take a breath. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to enjoy being in the moment, being where you are now. Now, once I'm calm enough and feeling ready, I usually put my hands together to make a circle. Because a circle represents the idea of peace to me. Nothing gets caught up in a circle. Everything just continues to go around and around and around in a cycle. And while in this state, I go through each line of the mantra and take a moment to think about them. I'm going to go through the mantra as a whole because this video is about meditation as a whole practice, and it goes like this. Acceptance of self, love of your person. Progress through pain, acceptance of pain. Progress through defeat, acceptance of defeat. Life is like a river, and people, saplings, in its never-ending cycle. As life puts pressure on parts of ourselves, we are left with 2 options. We may bend and grow from the river's pressure, or we may resist and break as the pressure consumes us. Peace is found in accepting what is grown and what is broken, what is and what isn't, who we are and who we want to be. Peace is found in accepting life's cycle. Peace is being, and through being, you find balance. Now there you go. That was my mantra of peace, the very first part of my meditation style that I've been working on recently. The idea, though, is that each verse represents a crucial part to attaining peace, to working through what peace means to yourself and then finding it. The verses are a way to try to reflect about you and your life, how they relate to whatever you're doing or going through. I meditate and think through each of the lines, and this is what meditation has become for me. The internal dialogue and discussion is where self-awareness is birthed, and the beautiful thing about it is that everything I learn about myself I can keep to me. In my mind, I'm free to think about everything that happens in my life however I want. I can break a problem down and stare at it from any angle. I can go through any experience and see it play out again. And most importantly, I can be honest with myself, because what I learn is found by me and for me. It might not benefit anyone else in the world, but it sure as hell helps me out a lot. And that's what I've come to love about meditation. Sharing what you figure out about yourself can be very helpful, and I think writing down or talking about what you realize can improve the process, but in truth, all of it's for you. This whole journey, this whole adventure that people are supposed to go on, and at the end of the day, it's done by you. You can't live another person's story. You can't write it down yourself. The only person's story in life that you could change is your own. And self-awareness, it's about learning and becoming aware of all the different elements that make up who you are, and find what you do. In that process of becoming more self-aware, you become accountable. You own up to and acknowledge things that affect you. You gain some control over your life, and you choose what to do. I guess that's a good way to kind of segue into what I wanted to talk about next. This channel and its goals. I started this channel recently and it's very new. What I've been covering and talking about may seem all over the place, but everything that I talk about is something that I'd write down in my journal myself. It's something that I've spent a lot of time thinking about, and after years of waiting and procrastinating, I really felt like I wanted a space to communicate with people and just talk about life. Life in all of its crazy, mind-blowing, and incredible glory. Not to mention the authentically real stuff as well. My hope with this channel is to reach out to people and talk like we're having a conversation. Maybe encourage them, give some advice, and share my perspective and opinions. To be totally honest, I'd love it if whatever I share makes somebody's life just change, and hopefully change for the better. I'm only going to be posting episodes like this as if the channel was just a podcast, but I'm also going to be posting a whole manner of different videos on YouTube, and covering a range of topics on both YouTube and Spotify. This channel is going to be like my journal, and I treat my journal like a space to communicate and clear my thoughts. It's my own world. I let my mind explore and wander and thrive while I'm writing down. I write, I draw, I make poems, I make songs, I go over recipes and goals. I want this channel to be a journal that people can listen to and kind of get a picture of who I am as well. And hopefully it'll help you build a picture of yourself too. Now, will that happen? I don't know, but it won't stop me from making an effort towards getting there. So look forward to more videos that are likely going to be a tad bit motivational, maybe thought-provoking, very optimistic, and hell, I may even make a fool out of myself with some of them, but it'll be interesting to hear at least. That's enough about what's to come. You'll have to tune in more and wait for the next time. Now, thanks for listening to the Journal of a Huntsman, and please like the video, follow, and share if you can. Share it with your friends or mention it to a few people. Maybe spread the word a little bit. I hope all of you have a great day. I'll see you next time, where I'm talking and going more in depth into my style of meditation. Thank you.